Good morning, dear children. This is Manik sir going to tell you about the remaining part of the lifelines of national economy. So, dear children, today we shall continue with the international trade. Here we try to understand what is called trade and what are the benefits of having trade with other nations and why we are doing these trade activities with other nations. First we shall learn here what is called trade here. So here when we are exchanging the goods between different kind of peoples with different states among different countries and with different peoples in the society, as it is referred to trade here. So what is trade here? When we are sharing the goods between peoples, between cities, between towns, between states, between country, it is been referred to as trade activities here, because we are exchanging the goods here. We are exchanging the commodities with different kind of people here, and that is what it is called trade activities. So dear children, when we are doing all these trade activities, for doing the trade activities here, market is the right place here. Market is the right place where we are doing such kind of trade activities. We are exchanging the goods. You must have seen in towns and cities whenever you are visiting. And during that time we see different kind of peoples, what they are doing. They are doing commercial activities here. They are selling, they are purchasing, they are exchanging goods. So such kind of things is known as trade activities. It is business activities. It is commercial activities, because we are transferring the goods from one people to another peoples, from cities to town, from states to state, from countries to countries. We are doing the business activities here. We are doing the commercial activities here, and that is what it is known as trade activities. So what is called this international trade here? When we are doing trade activities between two countries or many countries, when we are doing more than, or when we are doing trade activities with more than one countries, that is referring to as international trade here, because here many countries are joining their hands together and they are doing trade activities here. That is why it is referred to as international trade. So here when the international trades are happening, during that time foreign exchange happens in the society. We see the role of MNC, multinational corporations, and what the multinational corporations are doing. They are having trade relations with two or many countries and doing commercial activities here. That is known as the international trade. We are doing trade activities with many countries. So dear children, it is not necessary that all resources will be available in one country. When those resources is not available in one country, we are depending upon another country to import us such kind of goods to fulfill the demands of the society. You must be knowing very well that we are having several kind of things which are imported to India, that is such as petroleum, petrol, diesels, all these are imported to India. Though India is having productions, but those productions is not good enough. It is not good enough to fulfill the demands of the society. That is why we are depending upon another countries to fulfill the demands of the society. That is why we need to have the international trade here. And this international trade, it can take place in several ways, or it can take place through sea, air and land routes. So here the international trade it can be taken place with the help of sea route, with the help of air routes, and at the same time land routes, because when we are having trade activities with nearby countries or those countries which is near to us, through land ways we can reach them. So here the airways, the seaways as well as the land routes, it is helping us to have international with another countries. So dear children, already I have explained to you about the local trade. The local trade basically it is taking place in villages, it is taking place in towns and cities, and here the peoples are selling their commodities, they are selling their goods here, they are doing the commercial activities, they are prospering in business, so they are doing different kind of things in order to be prosperous in towns and villages, and we call it as local trade here. In local trade, what they are doing, they are selling their commodities here. They are selling their commodities, they are sharing their goods here, they are doing the business activities, and that is referred to as local trade. Right now, dear children, here we need to understand that if we have the international trade, then it is a sign of a economic prosperity. Why it's a sign of economic prosperity? Because when we have trade relations with other countries, other multinational corporations and multinational companies, then it's a sign of foreign exchange. It will cause the export activities, at the same time the importing activities. Here the export activities and the import activities is the main components of trade here, because when we are doing the international trade here, we need to have the export and import activities. In India, there are so many companies who used to have trade relations with other nations. They used to have this export and import activities. Means whatever thing is available in our country abundantly, we are selling those goods with another countries. And here the best what components of trade is export and import. And when we are doing this export import, dear children, here we understand that it's a sign of a economic prosperity. There will be foreign exchange, there will be foreign money. So when foreign money will reach to our nations will develop. Then the economical poverty will be eradicated in the society, job employment will be increasing, then development of the technology will take place. So all these development will take place in the society when we see the coming of this multinational companies. Dear children, we see that, see here, most of the peoples, they are greatly benefits here. They have more benefits here. Why? Because economic situations is continuously changing here. Because we are getting job here, we are having foreign exchange here, we are developing the society here. Technologically we are developing, economically we are developing. So children, as we are talking about the international trades, the international trade is very important here, because according to the criteria of this WTO, the World Trade Organizations, it's very important to all countries to have trade relations with each other. So according to these terms and conditions of this WTO, we need to have trade relations with another country. If we are not having trade relations with another countries, we are breaking the rules as well as the criteria of the World Trade Organizations. Because the World Trade Organizations is the one who used to promote the international trade between two countries. That is why according to these criteria of WTO, we need to have the export and import activities with another country. So children, here I was telling you that these export and import activities is the main components of trade activities, and no country can survive without having the trade activities with another nations, because the resources is not good enough to fulfill the demands of the society, because there are certain resources which are not available in our society, and to make available those lacking resources, we need to depend upon another countries, because whatever resources is surrounding us, it may not be necessary that it is going to fulfill the demands of the society. That is the reasons, dear children, the international trade is very important here. Then right now we shall talk here about the balance of trade. What is called the balance of trade? The balance of trade, it is difference between is export and import. So the balance of trade, it is difference between its export activities as well as the import activities. When the export is exceeding the values of imports, it is called the favorable balance of trade here. So what is called the balance of trade, dear children? The balance of trade, it is referring to the value of the exports which is exceeding the values of imports here, and such kind of things is called the favorable balance of trade here. So that is what I was trying to tell you, that whatever resources is available in our country, those resources may not be good enough to fulfill the needs of the society, and in order to fulfill the needs of the society, we need to depend upon another countries. We need to import those things which are not available here. So here, what is the balance of trade here? Because it is the export values, it is exceeding the values of import, and that is known as the favorable balance of trade here. That is known as the favorable balance of trade. So dear children, as we are discussing here all about the trade relations between two and other nations, here we understand that when the trade activities are happening between two nations, during that time we are given more importance to export activities as well as the import activities. Here we see the data which was taken in the year 2016 and 17. According to those data analysis, here we have the informations which was given and taken in the year 2016 and 17. According to that, we have the export share between other nations here. So I was telling you, dear children, according to these criteria of these WTO, World Trade Organizations, here we need to have trade relations with other nations, and when we are having relationship with other nations to do these commercial activities, then we need to have, or we need to go with these export activities and import activities. And how we are doing these export activities and import activities here, according to these analysis and data taken in the year 2016 and 17, according to that we understand here that the agricultural as well as the allied products which was exported from India, and it is nearly 8.64%, and the gems as well as the jewelry, it was exported from India, and it's nearly 17.02%. The engineering goods and chemicals, at the same time these petroleum products, it is exported from India, and it's nearly 12.06%. At the same time we are imported these petroleum products to India, it's nearly 22.4%. The gems and jewelry, it's nearly 12.8%. The chemicals, it's nearly 9.76%. The machinery things, it is 8.9%. the agricultural as well as the allied products, it's nearly 5.84 percentage. So this is how we are doing the trade activities with other nations. We are doing these export activities as well as the import activities. So we are sharing the goods between two nations here. And when we are sharing the goods between two nations, the export activities as well as the import activities which are taking place in the society.